Good. Okay. 女士们、先生们，欢迎来到李世锋茶谈录。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Tea with Li. Today, with great honor and pleasure, we are having Eloise. Her Chinese name is Li Ai Le. She is a great actress from London of England. Please, Eloise, how and why did you choose to be an actress? What drives you so passionate on action?
Yeah, firstly, Hayley, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be on your podcast. And for everyone out there, I have my tea with Lee. So first off, I got into acting from a young age. It's something I was always in the school plays. And I think I got my passion from watching movies. You know, I remember watching things like Indiana Jones and just being so inspired. And I'd go out to Planet Hollywood and see all the pictures on the placemats of all the actors. And I pointed out, you know, like all my favorite ones. And I knew from a young age that this is what I wanted to do. And I used to create little videos at home, like home movies, and drive my parents mad because I'd be like, film this. And I'd reenact my favorite films and scenes from my favorite films. So, and, you know, it was always there from a very young age. It's like the 6-year-old me just knew. And that's kind of the start, you know, because I begged my parents took me to drama classes. I went to a dance school, so I was used to performing on stage from a very young age. So, and it just lit me up. Like I knew that's what I loved. I knew it's what I wanted to do. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Cool. And you know, in China, for the people who training martial arts, the Kung Fu, if you're training since, as you mentioned, 6 years old until you become a grown up, we call you have Tongzi Gong, the Kung Fu from childhood. The Kung Fu since you are, you know, a kid. This is one of the best talent and achievement you could have. So as you mentioned, you started to act since you were 6 years old. So at that moment, you know, how the TV show goes. Now, for example, you have, you know, smartphone, you know, at that moment back then, maybe you have a DV or you have, you know, how you film yourself and how you know, make a little documentary or videos.
Yeah, so my dad, they had like those home video cams. So I got my dad like those because they took them to like, even when our school plays, I used to get them to stand in the audience and film me. And it's funny because so many auditions now are done on self-tapes. And I think back then, and it's like I already had that kind of practice of self-taping because I was so obsessed with it. I was just like creating my little movies. So yeah, it was just like on a video cam. So yeah, it wasn't on, it was on the TV. I'd see the films and then just like on a video camera. But then I didn't get into acting professionally until a bit later on because I took a deviation in my path, and I was modeling for a while. And I remember so sort of, I'm going a bit off piste here, but I remember that didn't light me up at all. I did well, but I was really missing that thing that makes me me. And it's funny you say it's similar to martial arts. I think whenever you do what you're inspired to do when you're really young, I think it's like sometimes we know the best when we're a kid and we're just playful. And that made me me. And when I went into modeling, it was a very serious, you know, I mean, acting is a serious industry, but it was just very devoid of that sense of play for me. Nothing against it for anything else, but it was lacking that essence that made me me. And so I quickly realized that that's, you know, I was way off my path. So I had a gap in between there of being quite, quote unquote, kind of lost, you know, I kind of lost my way. And then I remembered thinking, what did I used to love when I was 6 years old? And then it was like, hey, acting and dancing and, you know, so that's when I got back into acting after this stint in modeling.
Wonderful. So you mentioned that it was playful. I mean, actually, you know, Bruce Lee used to say. So what I'm going to share with you is like action, non-action, and non-action, action. So when you are playing it, actually, you are not acting, but you acted already. It's kind of the best way of acting because you don't feel that you are acting. You already finished the action. So in Chinese, the philosophy in Chinese, which I like quite much. Also, I apply this philosophy in my way of life called, this is Wu Wei. Non-action, action, action, non-action.
Yes.
So I think you are, maybe you were born of being an actress. Wonderful story. Okay. I used to read quite a lot of Shakespeare. My favorite drama of Shakespeare is The Tempest, you know, about the storm. So, and do you do some, I see you do stunting, you know, you are wonderful stunt woman and you do some action movie. So, and do you do also some like a drama or, you know, some, the other beyond your stunt action?
Do I do drama?
Yeah, I mean, do you do? I mean, you are
do I do drama?
I already know that you are a wonderful stunt woman. I'm just wondering later, do you do some like drama or online, you know, like on the stage, facing to the audience directly, face to face? Yeah.
Oh yeah, live as in theater. Yeah. So I actually started off doing theater. So I remember, so that was after, it actually leads nicely on from where I left off. So after I finished modeling, I didn't know what to do because I hadn't been to drama school, which is what I wanted to do. So then I saw this audition on Spotlight for a play. And I just knew how to play that character. In my head, I was like, I was so inspired by the breakdown of the character. And I was like, I can do this. So I hounded the director. I didn't have any showreel then, no agent. And I just said, listen, I'm really excited about this character. I'd love to come give it a shot for you if you have me read. And, you know, they were like, well, who are you? At the time, you know, like we've got all these people from RADA auditioning, but I was like, I'm really excited to, you know, about this role. It's in my head. I was like, I just know I can bring this character to life. So luckily the director gave me a shot. I went on auditioned, and long story short, I went through the rounds and I ended up getting this role. And it was very gritty, very heavy on drama. And then I had, that was my kind of baptism by fire back into the professional industry, because then I had this play that I was a lead for 2 months in. And I thought, you know, crikey, here we go. I've got the role now. Now I'm going to have to do the work and prove my worth. But it was incredible. It was a great experience. And I always love theatre. There's no escaping, there's no hiding. It's so, you know, and it's the same for me. It's not too different to being on set, except you can obviously, you know, the director might cut, you might go for another take. Obviously when it's live, it's just continuous. But there's so much freedom in that as well, you know, and you vibe off the audience. It's just like it's great. Like I've done, and I did another play. I mainly do TV and film, but I did do another play last couple of summers ago, and that was a comedy. And again, just the buzz of being in front of an audience was, just, I love it.
Cool. And as a stunt woman, so did you try some like martial arts or Chinese kung fu, something like this?
Yeah, so what happened is, I mean, I'm an actress, like, first and foremost, and, you know, being inspired by action films, I suddenly, I used to do, so I have a dance background, and I never did martial arts. I as a child, I did dancing and acting. And so acting, I kept in, obviously, and continued as an adult to act. And then I got a few roles, really nice ones, and like that had, and I still do straight acting roles, no fighting in it. So you've got like Villain, that was on Netflix. That's just like they're not fighting in that. That's a crime, it's like a crime drama. And so yeah, I was doing roles like this, and then actually I started doing Thai boxing in the gym that I was going to. I saw that they did. I was like, what are these guys doing? This is super cool. And it was from, I used to train at gym, and Team 2 were training in there doing Thai boxing. So I just jumped in one day and gave it a go, and I fell in love with it. So my initiation into martial arts was through Thai boxing. And then after that, I got a film, John Paul Lee, JP Lee. He's huge in, he's done amazing films. He's a great martial artist. I was lucky that he came to me and was like, there's this, and Bart Rispoli, who Villain, there was a little project they wanted me to get involved with. And so JP trained me for that. And Donnie. And so they were my first real screen fight mentors. And they taught me, so much. So I was going from just a Thai boxing background to these guys who are phenomenal martial artists. They came, sort of adapted my style to screen. And I have them to thank for that transformation and that education. If it wasn't for that, I'd be the performer I am now. So big to them and their team, Axel. They've really helped grow me as a performer. So then JP later on got to do speed dating, which I play the lead in. And so again, I trained up even more with Donnie, JP and their team. And then that's when it really started to elevate, because I'd never done sort of like knife fighting before. And they trained me they spent like, I think it was 2 months nearly every day training me up, and it was phenomenal, and it's hard work. And those gave birth to the real martial artist in me, because everything they said, before I would just do it when I had a role, it's like I'd train up for it, but then I'd drop it the next second. And something changed in me during that process for speed dating, where I was like, I can never go back to being less than this. And I just had this drive to want to be the best because of that process, or the best I can be. So the next time I go into an action film, I'm going to be even greater than that. So I think it's because I love dancing. I've always been very physical. I suddenly fell in love with martial arts. And it took me that whole process to then actually pick a martial art again. I was training up for another film, and I learned a screamer for the film. And so then I found a dojo in London that trains a screamer called Hybrid FMA. And I learned again, went through the ropes there and learned a screamer, and I kept that up. And I fell in love with that. And so now I blend all my disciplines. But yeah, the martial art that I'm constantly doing now, week out, graded belts. So I'm like, just like, how far can I run with this? And I'm loving it. I've got a great community there. My best friend, one of my best friends, Gedra, she trains there. And yeah, it's just great fun. And so I've really stayed consistent with the Philippine martial art eskrima, and that's because that incorporates stick and knife, double sticks, like you name it, you can do it. And then I teach sometimes at Take 3 Stunt Academy. So it's been this amazing journey, just like acting. And now the two runs like synonymous. Like before they were separate, it was like martial arts separate, acting separate, just doing drama roles. And then they suddenly merged, and then it's like now everyone knows me for doing action, which is awesome, because it's what I envisioned. I used to love artists, and he like drew warrior women, and I was just really drawn to this art. And now it's like weird how that symbolism, I had these paintings in my room. I've still got one, actually. It's like I became it. It's kind of mad. Mad what goes into the subconscious and gives birth to who I am now, and I have all these people to thank for it as well. My sister, we trained together. She was in that process before. We trained a lot together. She was really great at kickboxing, so shout out to Sophie, because I remember there was one day she did like this amazing kick round to the back of my head, and I was like, oh, I can't defend myself. That spurred me on again to like deepen my martial arts. So it's just something I love, like acting. My favorite things to share is acting and training. Yeah.
Cool. And it's amazing that you somehow united your powerful dancing techniques with the martial arts. Actually, in China, in the very beginning of the creation of the characters, so martial in Chinese is called Wu, dancing also Wu. So they are, even now, they are in similar pronunciation, deep down.
Wow.
In the original way, they were from the same character. So they have a lot of stuff in common, and it's a greater combination. Yeah. And I think you excellently united your dance and the martial arts you are training. That's make your performance so natural and so vivid. You know, even we see it's a performance, but we can feel what you are feeling. We can see what you would like to share with us. So it's such amazing. And also, so you can dance, you can act, you can, doing you can do martial arts. And also, I know that you can do music. You graduated from a music school, right? So
yes,
what kind of
like
music you are doing right now?
So right now, sadly, not much at all, because I had to pick a path. I have so many, I love being creative. So there came a point, I was actually in a band. I was in a few bands. So for a while I was really on the music hype, I went to London Music School for a little bit, and then I think I dropped out early and joined a band, and then it was kind of worldy music. Like we had inspirations like Ben Harper, Ben Howard, kind of, but then it had kind of a 90s grunge edge. It's a bit hard to explain. And I was drumming as well. So drums are my favorite instruments. Something primal about them. Yeah, so that for a while I was pushing that, but then sadly the band broke up, and then that's when I started to really push acting. I guess I was quite deflated at that time, and I thought, oh my goodness, I quit the modeling, the band didn't work out, but the thing it was just all meant to be was like, okay, acting, let's go give this a go. It's kind of like I'd exhausted every other avenue. Okay, let's do acting, the one thing you actually really want to do. But yeah, music's never going to leave me. I truly love it. I think the dancer in me is always there, because that's the thing I started, I think 4 years old I was dancing from. So that's just innate, that's just always there. And I still like just to go out and have a dance. And with music, I mean, currently not much. I'd love to sing again. I would love to do that. I sometimes do. I just sing in the shower now. I love a role. It'd be cool to do a role with some singing. It would be great to play something. That would be fun. Or a drama.
Okay, now I understand why you are so energetic. You are so energetic, and we are also with so much power. I mean, because the drum, we in China, we use it for encourage, for cheering up the spirit of the warrior. We are doing drum. Yes. Even now, when we're giving performance for the martial arts, for example, lion dance, dragon dance, we are using the drum, the huge drum, to give the power, to give the sound. to energize you, to empower you. So I think it's of course your favorite, instruments could be drum. Okay. About the music, I used, in the very beginning when I started practicing my English. So I always was fond of the Beatles. For example, I like singing John Lennon's Imagine all the people.
Oh yeah,
right, something like that. And also, yeah, and let it be, right? Let it be, blah blah, and also
yeah,
Hey Judy, and also something like that. So
you got a good lyric.
Thank you. So have you? I mean, now you're mostly working as a model, as a stunt woman, and also some martial arts. So the current project you are working on, you have some current project working on?
Yeah, I've just trying to think of what I can actually talk about. There is one going ahead next year. I can't say too much about that, but it's going to be for my action fans again. So it's a role with a lot of action. So I'll share more about that on my socials when I can. I just finished a role in an action film called Bad Day at the Office. So that one's literally just wrapped that one in December. And then what else coming out this year that I can definitely talk about is a film called Firecracker. I play the lead, Lena, and that's by director Julie Potts. He's in Primal, The Witcher. So yeah, it is actual debut for a feature film. And yeah, that's a really cool movie. It's like a heist movie gone wrong. And there's two of us in a house, and I don't want to say too much because everyone needs to watch it this year, but it's coming out very soon. And then another one coming out is a vampire film I did, again playing the lead opposite Arifin Putra. He was in The Raid, which I love those films. The action in those are phenomenal. I think everyone was always inspired by those films. So that's coming out later on this year as well.
Cool. And I'm quite sure that it will be great works. And on the way of your journey of no matter modeling, acting, or some martial arts actions, have you ever made some mistakes, or if there is no mistakes, how if I am the, let's say, model, the new one who would like to work on this path, or actor, how to act or being the model, doing modeling properly. I mean, what is your suggestion for the people who like to dive into this profession?
So I think mistakes I like to think of as lessons, but the biggest one I had was early on was not following my path, was going into modeling actually, because I knew I wish I went to drama school. So, and I was well on course to do that, but then I listened to everyone else and got pulled off and went into modeling. So my biggest lesson was to listen to go against my own inner voice from an early age. And I'm just so grateful that I managed to pick up that voice again and get into acting. But what I would say for anyone who hasn't done the traditional route, like I think it's a great thing. If you know you love acting, stick with it, go to drama school. There's great drama schools, and go that route. If you don't do that, that's fine. Also, you can train along the way, and there's so much available to people now. There's so many great courses that you can do, evening courses even. It's just about like train, if you want to do something, it's like martial arts, right? If you want to do anything, train in it, get involved. the biggest, another lesson, don't listen to, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous for saying this, don't listen to the naysayers, you know, because you get into this industry, you might get a few lucky breaks, but if you start listening to people when you say you're in a project and people start going, oh, but acting's so tough, oh, it's so difficult, blah, blah, blah. And so many people say this for some reason. Yeah, you can't listen to that voice. You've got to just back yourself 100%. You've got to back your dreams 100% because you can fail at what you don't want. So you may as well take a shot on what you love. Because what else are we here to do? You're here to really experience life to your highest frequency. And you're going to certainly feel that when you're permitting yourself to dream, to go after what you truly want, as opposed to maybe go, oh yeah, I guess it's not for me, or whatever, like, oh yeah, it is tough, it's too hard, I'll just suppress that urge and do something. I mean, I'm always like, I'm go hard or go home. So I think there's nothing, there's, you know, or if people think, oh, I didn't get that role, I guess it's not for me, I didn't get this one. You got to failure is part of it. Failure is the road to success, because you just learn, you know. Listen to other people, follow your dreams. If you haven't gone to drama school, find a great course, find like an evening course. Like there's things you can do to get involved in the industry. And yeah, just you'll find some great mentors and stuff like that, and just getting the practice of it. Like anyone can film a self-tape or their favorite scene by themselves, or get a friend. Like that's still working your craft, you know. And there's a way. I think it's something that I want to demystify, that it's so possible to do. It's like anything, if you put in the work, you'll get out a great result. And I truly believe in that, because I haven't come from a traditional route, so I really do stand for that. That, you know, you can find your own way through, and you can permit your. Do we run out?
Yeah, we come back. I think the internet was broken for a while, but keep going. Yeah, about you. We must listen up our inner voice and
I was
follow our
talking
dream.
too much.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it went. The universe went, you're talking too much, Eloise. Yeah, but basically, I like that. When there's a will, there's a way. Listen, it will come back. Failure is the road to success, and here we are.
Exactly.
And also, one more point. I have one more point. Don't you remember? As if you get a great agent, but keep the work up. Keep lessons. Keep going to classes. It's like going to the gym. Don't just expect everyone to do stuff for you just because you've got an agent now or something like that. You've got to be proactive. You've got to be out there, honing your skills. You know, don't wait for other people, because then you have a great relationship with them. They'll be like, oh, cool, she's not on the backseat. She's, you know, you can see that you really care about your craft. Yeah.
Amazing. I think later I'm going to share you a little video, which the video is about my speech, you know, and also the class I offered to the friends and students in Lithuania. I exactly said, okay, never ever let anybody or anything change your way of life. So this is the end part of the sharing, which because, you know, like as we shared, as you mentioned. So for example, like when we're giving the punch, you see, this line, this direction is extremely powerful. But all the other direction, you know, like this direction is powerful, is sharp, is your path. But when your path is changed, no matter in which way, you lose the energy, the power, the feeling, the emotion, everything. Maybe you can be like stuck somewhere, but you still, for example, when somebody would like to change it, you know, change your fist, but you must give your shoulder moving forward, and you still keep your path of life, your path of your inner voice. And maybe you will, sometimes you will be broken, just like our internet was broken for maybe 10 seconds. but you got to come back. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the last question is, so what does action mean to you?
Freedom, play, discipline, integrity, indomitable spirit. Yeah. Acting as well. Action or acting, that's action. Acting is free, action is play. Yeah, action is this liberation and connection. I love to act because I love to truly connect with people. It's not just, you know, I think a truly great actor is a great listener. You know, they respond of someone. This is not a solo trip. This is something that I think really unifies us. And it's done that since I was a kid. It gives me such freedom to express. And I think as adults, what can happen is, you know, we get so conditioned by certain things that perhaps we suppress this urge to be free and open and to actually say what's on our minds and be authentic. It's ironic, playing different characters is the most authentic I can be, because I don't have restrictions, you know. It's like I don't feel like I'm walking around going, oh, well, maybe this isn't right, and I'm sorry, and this is kind of apologetic state that sometimes I think we can adopt. And I think it kind of breaks through all of that when you just allow all these authentic expressions, and you don't judge yourself or another. And I think that's real power, because then you can sit with anyone and truly be present with them. I think that's so important in the era of all of this, right? I mean, recently I gave this up, but you know, I'm hardly on this phone anymore. I use it for work and it's a great tool, but I noticed I had an overuse of it. And then I just thought, you know what, enough of that. And what I love about acting and martial arts is it gives you this flow state. It gives you such a heightened level of presence that I love. So yeah, acting and action ultimately me like just presence, which gives me peace, which gives me joy, you know.
Wow, thank you for, as you mentioned, that action is the way of connecting people, of expressing who you really are to them, and maybe they will resonate with you, to feeling your vibration, your frequency, and then all of us can stay in harmony and in peace. And once again, okay,
yeah,
for any of you who are looking for a great model, great actress, martial artist, and also possibly have some fun to sing together, Eloise Li Ai Le is indeed the one you are looking for. And no matter you are the personal one director, or in the studio, or the filmmaker, or the big projector, so the talented, hardworking, and also philosophical actress, modeling, and martial arts, like Bruce Lee used to say, I'm not a martial artist, I'm a martial arts philosopher. So you are like the philosopher of action, you know? And
thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you again, once again, Eloise Ai Le, for your wonderful sharing about your passion, and also about your current project. I'm looking forward to talk with you somewhere, and also maybe soon to a different topic. Once again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor. I really appreciate you having me talking.
Okay,
It's been a pleasure
like
to
this.
speak to
All
you
right.
as well.
Okay, so see you